Pickaxe.
3, 2, Michelle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Micro VGO, the Little Video Game Outsiders. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle Madison.
And I, of course, am your John Jacobson. Michelle,
Yes.
I'm covered in grass.
Oh,
Wet
no.
grass.
I don't need to know that.
Why?
I don't need to know that.
It rained. It's wet out. My mom's coming. I went out there with the trimmer. I'm getting rid of weeds.
Good.
But they're sticking to me, Michelle.
This is not Weed Outsiders.
Before I came down here, I had to go to my kitchen with a wet paper towel and clean my legs.
Ew, I don't want to think of this. I don't think any of our listeners want to think of that
Grass
either.
is stuck.
Okay. I'm going to have a requirement here before we come on to do these shows. You have to shower.
Well, I'm going to shower. I'm not done. I'm in the middle of this.
Okay.
You texted me to do this, so I had to stop.
No. I
clean my legs.
Let's read the text. It says, what time are you available to do our bonus show? It doesn't say, let's do now, must now. So don't blame me, okay? But yeah, we are going to talk about some games and news as we always do.
Big stuff going on, honestly.
I know, the Nintendo Donkey Kong Direct. I'm going to have to double down on my Nintendo hate with you and Rye, you juicers, okay, on the show now. This double Nintendo juice, okay, that I'm having to.
I mean, Matt liked it too, though, right?
No, he didn't.
Really?
We got a text here, or I'm sorry, a tweet from Stargazer. As soon as the podcast began with Xbox news, John was so quick to turn it into a retard console war. The first thing he said was Sony is dead. How about discuss the actual news first? You're immature,
Sony is
you're
dead.
Selfish,
Well,
and you only talk about what
I am
you
immature.
like.
But
I know. He says the only negative thing about the pod. I mean, look, we all have our fun with everything, but I do feel like we are missing a Sony representative now with both of you Nintendo juicers, John, and I'm PC Master Race. I have to stick up for Sony when it sees fit, and you guys are kind of saying Sony's dead with nothing to show for it. I mean, they're still.
What do you mean nothing to show
profitable
for it? There's okay. Listen, I don't want to rehash last night.
Yes,
but come on,
we got a couple of angry ponies today.
There's been nothing exciting about the PlayStation in the last year besides Astrobot, and that's the truth.
Besides
just
the game
accept
of the
it.
year, oopsie.
Just accept it, okay?
I don't. I have to disagree.
So,
I think
Death
if you're
Stranding
a console
2,
gamer,
Death Stranding 2. Okay, this is the next big one. Okay, so we've had 2 games in the last 2 years, right?
And you're excited about doodling in Donkey Kong. I'm just saying. To each his own.
I pre-ordered Death Stranding. I'm not. I try everything.
That's right. We're going to talk about that with Matt on the 1st. So don't worry. The games will still get talked about. And
on the beach.
You're not away then.
No, the game's called Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's perfect. It's John's beach games. All right. Well, speaking of beach, I did force myself early this morning to do deck mode, okay? Because all you talk about is deck mode. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. I don't like it. I'm going to try.
Okay, with your iPad?
Now I have an iPad. I've got the big one, okay? It's large, 13 inches, larger than your Switch, all right? And I just wanted to check in. I'm not a mobile gamer, but it's interesting how many actual real games are on there now and how it's sort of a sea for a lot of like classic stuff too, like Knights of the Old Republic is on there, the GTA trilogy, like even like all of the Final Fantasy games are on there.
Sure, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of like not talked about a lot, right? Because people think of mobile gaming, they think of whatever, the typical shit, but it's sort of becoming a platform in a different way that isn't really talked about even on our show. You know, you don't often hear us say, well, I played Stardew Valley on my iPad. No, we'll say I played it on PC or console. So it has like whatever the games, but I thought it was interesting because I was looking at Final Fantasy Tactics. The remake was announced coming out in September, and that this is the original version, you know, that they sort of ported or whatever. So I'm like, I don't want to play that. I'm going to wait for the remaster. But I ended up seeing, while looking for that, Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent. Now, I did play Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. I sort of like them. And this is a totally separate game, okay? It is sort of a gacha game. People say it's heavily dependent on your luck or if you're willing to spend money. So sometimes people re-roll or whatever, that typical shit. But outside of those mechanics and the typical menu dance that you have to do, you okay?
I just licked my fingers and they had gasoline on them.
Ew! What you didn't wash your hands before you sat down at your computer?
I did, but
what
apparently
is going on? I'm talking about Octopath Traveler, and this guy's licking gasoline. What the fuck? This is why you're brain damaged and like Nintendo. Oh, okay, John, you should rinse your mouth and you should wash your hands.
I did wash my hands.
First of all, why are you putting dirty fingers in your mouth?
I just put my hand in my mouth and my.
Why are you putting your hands to your mouth?
Just to kind of wipe my face a little bit. Like I felt kind of itchy.
This is disgusting.
I'm covered in stuff.
Okay, and your chair is filled. I don't even know what's going on down there. You need to tell your wife to come down and clean you and your chair. Okay, so anyway, I did play Champions of the Continent. So the cool thing about it is take a drink of water before you die on air. You could have 8 people in your party instead of 4, like in the regular games. There's a lot more depth and a lot more about like getting all these different characters. That I kind of enjoyed. Like there was an addicting loop of opening up, like it's a ring you touch and then these characters come out, and they have them from all other games like Triangle Strategy, like other Square games, like these different characters sort of come out. So I don't know, like it's kind of fun if you like Octopath 1 and 2. Some people are claiming the story's better in these games. It's actually a prologue to those games, so it's connected to the world, certain characters. So look, I don't really like the heavy emphasis on the daily check-ins and all this stuff. I went through that with Sword of Convaleria, but I thought that was much less egregious than this game. Right. I can definitely see like the negative side of it. It's a shame because, you know, taking away all the mobile aspects, this is a full-fledged different Octopath game with different mechanics,
I'm installing
double
it right
the characters. Now. Well, yeah, just get ready for the loop.
It's on Android. Now, is this on Apple TV?
This is what I was going to ask you because I'm not a Mac person. Okay, obviously I'm a PC person, but I do have the iPad. I game on it here and there. Do these games work on Mac? Is this how Mac people game? How does Apple work that? Because it seems like there's more games on iOS now. Yeah, Steam works, but there's not a lot of games on it, right? If somebody wanted to go play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which I can play on my iPad, can somebody open up their MacBook and do that? They can on Steam. It's not on Steam for Mac.
I mean, there's Apple Arcade, which is on Mac.
Yeah, but that's different. Apple Arcade doesn't have all of these games.
I have an app store on my Mac right here, but I never go in there because I just use this for Pro Tools. So
I'm wondering if it's like the unspoken people who are gaming casually are opening up their MacBook and going to these stores and
I can tell you this.
There.
Well, when I set up my mom's Mac Mini last Thanksgiving, that's what we did. I took her to the App Store and she was grabbing all kinds of shit. Now she wasn't downloading Dead Cells, but there's a lot of games on there. Here, let me go in the App Store. What do you want me to find? Here's Arcade. I'm on the Mac right now.
Let's find Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent, or find Final Fantasy Tactics. Because what I thought was interesting about Final Fantasy Tactics on there is they had an iPhone version and an iPad version that came out a little later. So the ones that have the iPad versions I really like because, especially with the big screen, they end up looking and feeling a lot better. And
Octopath is not on the Mac.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You can actually game more on your iPad now than your MacBook. There's more options.
I typed in Final Fantasy, and there's Castlevania, Oceanhorn.
That's not Final Fantasy.
I know.
All of the
Star
Final
Wars,
Fantasies
Star Wars,
are on...
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like
Dreamlight.
there's more stuff. Like, so if you're a gamer and you want to play games, you're better off with an iPad these days than a MacBook.
Well, that's not true, though, because you can run Steam on the Mac, and there's a lot of Mac games on Steam, believe it or not.
There's also a lot of games on the App Store, is what I'm telling you. I was actually pretty shocked, John, for what was there. And these aren't your typical mobile games. I know I did bring up one that's mobile only, but they're games that are sort of everywhere. I mean, and not just the Resident Evil and the Death Strandings and the bigger games, Assassin's Creed, that they're putting on there. But these are games that it seems like that is where people are doing more gaming instead of on their Mac itself. So whatever.
Right.
So I just want to check that out. I don't really like deck mode, John. It was bright out there. It was warm already.
Listen, I need to approve your deck mode too. Tell me what was involved. What was there a chair? Was there a table? Was there an easel?
I do have a patio chair and a table. There's no easel. I have a case for my iPad. I prop it up.
Now, if you're holding the device, that's not deck mode. That's chair mode.
Okay.
No, deck mode involves some sort of a stand, but you need a table. You need some kind of an easel or something.
My iPad props up, and I mean,
look, then you need to not touch the screen. You need a controller.
Well, I can connect a controller to it. I've done that before.
Okay, well then you do that next.
I
then
can also
report
tap
back.
it right in front of me. I don't like controllers.
There's no tapping. There's no tapping.
Okay,
there's no tapping in deck mode. I'm just telling you, that's not how deck mode works
in these turn-based games.
I am deck mode. I invented this. Steam Deck is called the Steam Deck because of me. Gabe listens, okay?
Yeah, I know, but it's not making us any scratch,
And now
John.
Nintendo
So,
got sneaky calling it tabletop mode.
yeah, I don't like that table
That
mode.
just all of a sudden appeared, that language, right? Where do you think that came from?
I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm not a fan of deck mode. If I game, I want to be in front of my big screen with my mouse and keyboard.
Now, Michelle, I have enhanced deck mode with a 34-inch TV. Okay, so
right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not out there. Like I
What do you mean?
have thought about redoing my patio, putting an outdoor television, making like the grill area and all that. I mean, you can actually make a nice indoor-outdoor area. I know it's probably stupid for you to do it because
I was at BJ's and they have these big like gazebo things that you can put on top of a deck.
Exactly.
And I was like,
that's what I'm saying. Like you should do that, or an indoor-outdoor.
This is only $1,800 and it looked kind of nice. It was all metal and shit.
If you're really into being and look, it's really nice out here. A lot of
I like the
sun though too. A lot of people have indoor-outdoor rooms though because of my climate here, but where you are, I mean, you can only enjoy like a couple of months a year. Don't you want to be outside enjoying the air in an actual deck mode?
What do you mean? I do it all the time. I have an umbrella.
I don't know. I'm just saying, if
you're
good at deck
LEDs
mode,
in it.
You need to get a permanent outdoor television. You need to get it. You could leave it under the gazebo, like you just mount it up under it.
I know, but the TV is so light. It's like 3 pounds.
You're carrying out like a TV, a speaker, mouse, like you're doing crazy shit. All I'm saying is, for your sake, for the show's sake, I did try deck mode today, and I was surprised at how like the back catalog of tons of these games. Like I said, you can go play all of the Final Fantasy games or whatever. I was almost going to play the original Final Fantasy VII, but I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But I'm glad I found this Octopath Traveler game. I don't know how much I'll play, but it's a solid, real Octopath Traveler game. Square is putting a lot of stuff out there. They had like a whole bunch of things that I was like, what?
Yeah. And this stuff's on Android too. Let's be clear.
Sure. But I wouldn't play. I mean, how many people have Android tablets? And I got to be honest, I wouldn't play these on my phone.
Yeah. Well, I have a big phone.
Yeah. It's still not 13 inches. I'm not, I want to play on a big screen. I'm a screen person. Okay. So I don't really like squinting down at phone games. Honestly, my mobile gaming has pretty much all been done on my iPad. So check that out if you guys are wondering what else you can do with your iPad. You can game on it. And I'm just drinking some water. And I don't have gasoline on my fingers. I don't have grass on my legs. So other than that, I know you played that Ninja Gaiden game.
I've got bleeding mosquito bites too, which is bad.
Ew. Get some alcohol on those and not the gasoline.
I keep scratching them and they don't
with your dirty gasoline fingers.
I know. It's bad.
Get ready for staph infection. All right.
So there's a demo for Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I tried it, Michelle. Now, this is a game that's coming out like in September, and it's made by the Game Kitchen, who made Blasphemous. Remember that game?
Yes, I do. I think I played it.
People like that game. So this is a, I guess, spiritual sequel to like a NES or Super Nintendo era Ninja Gaiden game.
Mm-hmm.
It's pixel art. It's really good looking for pixel art. Like it has a very tight, like Konami pixel art feel, like Castlevania. It actually reminds me of Castlevania. But it's challenging. It's got really tight platforming. Mm-hmm. Like your guy can like jump on like projectiles and like get to higher places that you can't normally get to. It's very precise platforming, really tough combat. There's like some bosses that are tough to take down. Like this is almost like a Souls-like, pixel art side-scrolling platformer. And I think people are going to fucking really like this game. It plays awesome on the Steam Deck, by the way.
Yeah, I saw a lot of buzz about the demo, and I was like, wait a minute, John was just talking about Ninja Gaiden and liking the old ones.
Okay, I definitely played the old Ninja Gaiden, but when I was saying that, I was speaking more of like the Xbox era of Ninja Gaiden, the Team Ninja stuff.
But you might buy this when it comes out.
I might, but I could tell already it's fucking hard. It's going to get like really fucking hard. Right. It reminds me of The Messenger, if you remember that game.
Yep.
Which was kind of like a Ninja Gaiden, pseudo sequel kind of a game.
It makes me wonder how much the Steam Deck is pushing games like this too. Like you say, good on the Steam Deck or good on these handheld PCs in general.
It's perfect on Steam Deck. Like this, honestly, this game comes out July 31st. I thought I read it was September.
So did I.
Boy, this
Interesting.
is a beach game. This is a beach game. What?
Okay, no.
What do you
Beach
mean?
game
No,
is people watching and making fun of them with the person next to you. No, like
this is a fucking beach game.
if it's
I haven't
hard, it's
seen
a
one.
beach game. Do you want to be like grumbling at your
Well,
Steam Deck while you're
I
at the
finished.
beach?
I remember finishing Shovel Knight on the Cape. You know, that was a bitch.
Yeah, Castle of Illusion is coming to, or no, what's that other one? Disney. What's that Mickey game or something that you played? It's coming to Steam, but they changed the name. You played it last time you were on vacation.
Oh, Illusion Island.
Yeah, Illusion Island. That's coming out to, I think, $30. Illusion Island starring Mickey and
that's
Friends
out.
comes out. Oh,
May
it's May 30th. Okay. Yeah, nobody cared about it here.
It's only got 13 reviews.
Nobody wanted this here. You were acting like this game was great and like the biggest thing ever.
I love this game.
All
It's
right, well-
you know, it wasn't like exactly hard, but it was a really fun Metroidvania game that I just was obsessed with finishing
Wait a
on
minute.
a
This
vacation.
person, product received for free. Their header quote on the review. The price
Yeah.
is the real villain on this island. You got it for free. Like,
What?
yeah.
I don't know. There's something about this game. They've been supporting the game since it came out like 3 years ago. Like every summer, there's an update, like a big patch or expansion. So there's
like
something
it.
about it where they keep supporting it.
right.
I mean, I really enjoyed this game. I'm not
Check
gonna
that
lie.
out. It's $30 if you want to play now on PC.
Yeah, I played it on the Switch, obviously, and that was a great beach game.
All right. Well, what are you drinking other than gas?
I need to start rating my beach games again.
No.
I am drinking just unsweetened iced tea.
Okay. So,
All right, let's talk
tell
about
me
Donkey
about
Kong.
this. Yeah.
So there was a Donkey Kong Direct today for this new Bonanza game, Bonanza, that's coming out in July. Okay, now I'm excited about this game, and also people have been saying and wondering who's making this game, what team is on this, and everyone was speculating it was the Mario team that made Odyssey, and I guess I read today that it's actually a group that splintered off of the Mario Odyssey team to make this game. So I think it's true that it is coming from those people. And the big reveal in this Direct was Pauline. She's in the game and she's a big part of it. And Pauline, Michelle, was the girl in the original Donkey Kong arcade. That's who Mario was trying to rescue.
Well, that's because they know their average gamer here that's going to play this is play
Well,
this in arcade
Pauline-
maybe, right? There's
Well, Pauline was in like Odyssey 2. She had a role in it.
Yes.
So they've been using her.
okay.
She was like the mayor of the city, I think.
Well, she's the girl that Donkey Kong grabs, like in the movies.
Yes, yeah. Pauline was the mayor of New Donk City
Right.
in Odyssey.
Donk's like what you call an ass. Like, look at the badonk on it.
I know.
They should
All
have
right,
given
so
her a massive ass.
So Pauline is in this game. She appears to be like a child, okay? And she's
Oh.
riding on Donkey Kong's back. It actually looks a lot like Wreck-It Ralph and that girl. And so she's just riding on DonkeyOng's back. She has
So
this
they ripped
ability.
off King Kong. This is what Nintendo does.
Well, that's
Mario
what. Well,
is
that's what.
Mickey.
Well, don't you know that? I mean, Donkey Kong, the arcade
Donkey
game was
Kong
King Kong.
Is
That's
King Kong
Kong.
with the lady grabs.
Yes,
Come on, Nintendo.
yes.
Get some original ideas. Sony's making The Last of Us 50 times. I get it. You're picking on them, but look what they're doing. All right, so she's in it. You play as her on his back.
No, you don't. Well, okay, so she's on his back the whole time, and she has like this ability to sing that will like unlock
That's
seals
not
and do
annoying. Some
do
bitch on your
things in
back
the world.
singing while you're trying
I
to do
know.
some get shit done.
Right. And
Men
then
aren't
there's
gonna like that.
there's a co-op mode, couch
Yeah.
co-op, where one person plays as Donkey Kong, one plays as her, and then she throws words at things
Wow,
to
this is
destroy.
this is perfect.
So she's a mouthy little girl on your
Yeah.
back. Just
This is perfect. This is like me on your back, verbally
Right.
abusing you while you're trying to get something done.
yes. Okay.
Nobody.
So
Who's gonna play this?
well, I think a lot of people because this looks
Yeah.
like a really fucking great
People
game.
will like
and
that though. Like I've said many times when I played
Yeah.
Sonic with my sister, like I was tails behind her as a kid while she
Yes.
ran around as Sonic, and I liked that I could do something. You know, it sounds like this
Yeah.
would be good for a kid or a girlfriend.
It is.
You
It
know?
is. And
Yeah.
as you're playing Pauline, you can actually affect the outcome of the boss battles and stuff. Like she can actually cause damage with her words, like most women. So it's
Of course,
perfect.
we have to verbally cut to the core because men just shovel everything under the surface. You need to get it out sometimes. Okay, so other than that, I saw the paint thing too, which
All right, yeah. All right, we'll get to that. Okay, we'll talk about that real
Oh.
fast. So there is like this creative mode where you can use the mouse and you could basically create stone sculptures with
So
the mouse
stupid.
pointer, and you can like basically make heads out of rock, and so you can make. They showed like someone making Donkey Kong, and you can add stone and paint his head, and you can make Mario and whatever. So it's some little just bonus
Are
creative
they going
mode
to have
for.
like a marketing campaign, show us your head, and like the hashtag
Maybe.
goes wrong?
Yeah, I know.
I saw the little video
Yeah.
with the people
I
talking
want
to
to see your best
preschoolers.
head.
Give us your best head. I mean, this is Nintendo trying to work in the mouse into all their games,
Yes,
right? They're going to
right.
have something like this.
Right. But let's talk about the gameplay, because this is the most impressive thing about this.
Of course.
So I mean, this is a really unique game to me. So it is a 3D platformer for sure. It's a collectathon for sure. But Donkey Kong can basically destroy everything. The environment is completely destructible everywhere. The mountains, the hills, the ground. He's just constantly, you can like annihilate an entire mountain, like, and just dig a hole, a tunnel, a cave, and then dig down deep and just find stuff and collectibles everywhere.
Well,
He has like some kind of like,
because I see words above
I know.
his head. Yeah, so she's
I know.
yelling and destructing.
yeah, she
She can shout, yeah, wow, and bam.
Right.
Words that become physical projectiles.
I know. That's what I'm
Stupid.
saying.
Wait, I'm waiting for the article of how this is sexist. I can't, it's going to be coming out there from these
Yeah.
people. The blue hairs.
So, like
They're going to
this
say
big
it's a
guy's
sexist
got this
game.
nagging girl on his back, just throwing words around.
I mean, I can
Like,
relate, but I mean, I'm just saying you're going to piss off some people are going to say that. So yeah, this looks interesting. They're saying it's a third person shouter, not shooter. Is that
Is that
that's
true?
what they're saying? Yeah, that's the.
Who's they?
I just saw it on 2 different websites, John. So I think
A
that's going
third
to be
person shouter.
yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. It looks really unique. It looks super fun. It looks like there's a ton of shit to find. The destructible
Yeah, it's
environments
nagging
looks
wife
great.
simulator, John. I don't know what this
I know.
is.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like, she's kind of ruining it for me, honestly, but maybe there's a purpose.
They had
I
to
don't
make
know.
her like a dumpy kid too. They didn't want to keep her sexy because Pauline's kind of sexy, right? She's got that.
Well,
red
she
dress.
is. I mean, look at.
They made her
look
like
how
a
she-
dumpy kid. Why didn't they put the sexy Pauline on his back shouting?
Well, look at how she looks as the mayor. Oh,
Well,
just
yeah,
type
why
in
didn't
Pauline
they?
Mayer.
I see her.
Yeah,
Why didn't they
with
do
the
that?
hat and the pantsuit? Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
and the sexy
the
dress.
red
and-
dress with the hat, like
Yeah.
the mob boss wife. Why didn't
Right.
they? They could have done that, but they decided
Maybe that was
to go
too
with
weird.
that would have been funny. I think that would have been much better. Yeah, if she because
That would have been hilarious, like a
Yeah.
40-year-old woman on your back.
yes, but I mean, that's her. It's weird to have changed her character design for it. They went with like Kid Pauline.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's some story. This is like Pauline's origin story with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's a groomer, actually, because
Yeah,
like, so
ooh.
she falls
How
down
old
as a
is he?
kid. She falls down into like his underground world as a child in a rock.
Ew.
So he raised her and then he stole her and brought her to
Yeah.
the skyscraper
Even if
and
he's
Mario.
like 25, she's like 10. So when you were 25, she was 10. You're gross. You're gross, Donkey Kong. And you're also not human.
Right.
Nintendo's into some sick shit. It's not
So
only
the
furries.
story is that like she falls, like Donkey Kong lives like underground somehow, like in some cave system, and so she falls down like a meteor, and now he's got to help her get back to the surface by going to the core of the Earth, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
So you're basically digging down into the Earth, down, all the way to the core of the Earth, and but the terrain doesn't look like you're underground. Like there's blue skies and water and oceans and
yeah.
like they're gonna like they said in like the direct, you know, even though you're underground, some of these areas don't look like that, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it says she is originally just was called Lady in the original game, and she yelled help, and that she is the damsel in distress. But now they have totally undone that. She's the kid, and you're still Donkey Kong. But
yeah, it's kind of weird.
she is from the original games. It is weird, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're allowed to
But
reinvent characters.
The destructible environments looks really awesome to me. Like you can literally just like make tunnels and break mountains anywhere and dig holes and just looking for
Wow.
all kinds of collectibles.
This sounds
What do you mean,
great.
wow? Shut up.
I mean, that's one of the things Pauline says. She says, "Wow" on your back, and then a mountain falls.
And there's a lot of stuff in here from Donkey
I'm sure
Kong
a lot
Country.
of dads with daughters are going to love it
Yeah, probably.
because
But
think
there's a
about
lot
it,
of
though. It's
Donkey
that's
Kong
why
Country
they did this.
stuff.
If it's
So Diddy
two-player
Co-
co-op with its the easy, all she can do is shout on your back. This is for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did that before with the other Mario games like Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
You could like like move a star around or
whatever.
something.
Like one of them could be the hat.
Oh yeah, the hat. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just Nintendo.
And again, there's some Donkey Kong Country rare stuff in here, like Diddy Kong's in here, Dixie Kong, Cranky Kong, the Rhinos. There are 2D levels that you're gonna play here and there, like Donkey Kong Country. So it looks like it's fully stacked. I saw people saying this should have been a launch game, but I mean
it's close enough to the launch.
What's a launch game? I mean, I think it is a launch game, right? It's in the window in the first month or so, first 6 weeks.
I think it's yeah. It's
I prefer the way they did it. This is just me because it's making me play Mario Kart World, right? So by the time this comes out, I'm ready to move on.
Because I've got nothing better to do.
I know, but if I had 2 games to bounce back and forth from, I probably wouldn't, I'd give one less attention than the other, right?
I disagree. I think more options is a good thing. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited about this. I really am.
Well, good. I think you would have been excited about anything. They could have shown you anything you would have been excited to play. You were already excited to play this game before you knew what it was and before this.
I saw the trailers and everything I said except for the Pauline was true. It's a platformer with destruction. So Pauline was the big surprise today.
All right.
And I think for some other people like Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong and Cranky, if you're into that shit.
Right. I thought this was funny. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is now Metacritic's highest rated game of 2025. Switch 2 re-release has ended Claire Obscure's 33.
Oh my God.
Claire Obscure 33's 2-month reign is the best rated game of 2025.
Can they do this?
Can you imagine if Zelda wins something? They won't because they're usually not eligible, but the Game Awards have been changing their rules with like allowing DLC and like, I don't know. I thought it's kind of funny.
Well, okay, so is it a new game or isn't it?
It's not. No.
Well, they added new stuff. And
but
actually
the ability to like go through your inventory on your phone, it's not a new game.
That Zelda Notes thing, I need to try that. Because they've been sharing like QR codes saying, scan this QR code with Zelda Notes and you'll get a hover bike for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't play the game.
I'm going to.
You're not.
I am.
You're not.
I will.
You won't.
I am.
You won't.
I'm going to.
You won't. You will never put in as many hours as I've put in, and you'll never beat the game. So why pretend? You're a poser.
What, Tears of the Kingdom? Or Breath of the Wild?
Play them. Yeah. You're not going to play them. And I beat the last Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom. You didn't play that. You played it for 2 minutes. You made beds. I'm just saying, you don't have to do it just because it's Nintendo, John. You don't have to go collect.
You didn't finish Echoes of Wisdom.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. In fact, many months ago, I posted. I did. Anyway, you're a Zelda poser, John. But you're having fun. You don't need to get the bike. Speaking of bike, some Tron game came out. Looks bad. People said they beat it in one sitting. $25. Was it like Tron
Catalyst? That's like that story-driven game.
Yeah, it's like part story, part the combat looks so bad. I was like, do I want to try this for the show? I like the Tron world. I'm like, I can't do it. Some cash grab from Disney. People are like, yeah, beat this in one sitting. Positive. I'm like, you paid $26 to play something for 2 hours?
What is the game? I mean, I love Tron too. Like, what
I know. I was wondering if you were going to do it, but the game is part narrative, part combat.
Is it like a Diablo game?
I don't think it's an ARPG. I mean, it looks like it, but she's just swinging wildly in the air. Like, look at the combat. It doesn't look good. Other news before we get out of here.
But this isn't there another Tron game that's all story?
Yeah, that's more like a Telltale, right?
Yeah. Dark and Darker is being removed from Epic.
Yeah, it's still on Steam right now.
And it's going to be removed from people's library.
I mean,
how does that work?
They're going to give refunds. Players will get a refund.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they're doing something nefarious or they're shutting down. Oh, it's because of the decision between Korea and Nexon, yeah.
That was that studio that the guys left and they took some of the assets and made this game with it.
Yeah, so because of the law, the dispute. So, but you're getting a refund.
You like this game.
I mean, I thought it was cool and had potential, yeah. We played a little bit with Matt and yeah, it's basically an extraction RPG, well, fantasy extraction. But I mean, Night Rain kind of is doing that too with like Battle Royale fantasy. Yeah, so I prefer that to like the typical shooters. I always prefer to be more in a fantasy setting. So it was kind of cool for that, but they didn't really polish it as much as I hoped they would between like
I kind of like the way it looked,
release.
to be honest. Like I like
but it just felt a little
roughness.
clunky. Yeah. But yeah, they should have just gone free to play on Steam or something and monetized it in another way. And I guess maybe the lawsuit kind of slowed them down. And then Epic also announced a new PvE Lego Fortnite Expeditions mode, which I think just came out today. Like I've fooled around a little bit with the Lego survival craft that they have out there in Fortnite in the past, maybe like a couple of years ago. It's actually pretty impressive and cool, a little basic, but like what they're doing within the game engine is really cool. So if this is a whole new 4-player co-op PvE mode, like it's kind of crazy. Like you can say, what does it mean to be a Fortnite player? Because it's nothing like Fortnite. I guess you're just playing Lego Fortnite. Do they need to drop what Fortnite the name or some new rebranding? I don't know. There's like all these different the Guitar Hero thing. It's weird. All these different actual real cool games and projects inside Fortnite when I don't even.
Well, that's kind of what's going on with all these like Roblox and VR chat. Like they're game launchers essentially. Like
right.
They're games within games, aren't they?
At one point, one game is going to become bigger than Fortnite that's in Fortnite. Like at some point it's going to happen, maybe, or Fortnite's going to change. I don't know. It's interesting, even though I don't really spend much time.
Like I've screwed around with like the user created content in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of fun on some of these maps that people made. Like,
right.
Like a lot of fun.
But the things they're making, the things Epic is making, like the Lego Fortnite thing, like that's a whole survival craft in there. Like that's actually kind of crazy. So if they keep building on it, I'm sure that's probably their most popular thing outside of Fortnite. It's kind of cool. Here's just one final thing before we get out of here. Josh Sawyer at Digital Dragons, I guess they did Pillars of Eternity, Pentiment. I didn't like Pentiment. I remember all that hype around that. He said, I don't feel good about the industry, but I feel good about the ability for people to create games that can find an audience. What do you think about the negativity around the industry and this whole, like, you have to bring up something bad or you get, I mean, it happened with Jeff Keighley when he didn't bring up the layoffs or whatever. Why is this guy, he's saying, like, why does this guy feel the need to say that the industry is in a bad place? And what do you think about that?
I think it's been a trend for the past 5 years, like with people just calling out corporations and crunch and right. There's something. It's just nonstop, right?
Right.
Like,
but then when people break off to do something, or
then they're bad.
Team
then
like
they're
Larry
even. Okay,
exactly.
and then they do that, and they say, "Oh, look at all these men making this game. What's going on? It's not diverse or whatever, right?" Like
there's always something to bitch about. You can't win. Yeah. So I don't like these sort of like
it's all these fucking kids are narcs. I'm telling you, this is what's going on. These kids are all fucking narcs now.
This guy's old. He's got a head full of gray
hair. A lot of these people that make all these tweets and shit are a bunch of narky kids. Like
they don't want to work hard. You hear that? Get off my lawn. No, I mean, I was digging through, I was halfway through this kind of when I was there, but it just came off as like, just sort of like, well, I know the best way to do something and to make a game. And it's, this way.
And it's what?
Well, I just think companies are allowed to have their own company culture. Browse their Glassdoor reviews, see if you fit in. You don't have to work at a place that may emphasize, like you say, crunch or a certain type of, like people aren't forced to work for certain companies, to make certain games, to be a part of things. But a lot of the people who have made these games said that they loved the atmosphere there. Like even if they were, I don't know, they shit on Larian so hard with Baldur's Gate 3. Like a lot of these people, these same people that make these comments that they worked with crunch or they had too much of a testing phase with the alpha and the beta, and we can't do that. It's like, it's just they're criticizing success. If it works and people there are happy, so be it. I hope we're getting, what I don't like in the industry is articles like this,
But I'm trying to figure out what he said. What's wrong? I'm going through the article. I'm trying to find exactly what he said was wrong.
Well, they took a headline and they wanted to make it out like he was shitting all over it. He said the state of the industry is not great. And he thinks the genre is also in a bad place. But he's made games from multiple genres. So, yeah.
It's a nothing article.
I don't like how they call it PUE. I'm sorry, Pillars of Eternity. PUE, it's Path of Exile. You can't take my letters. It's throwing me off right here. I was like, what are they talking about? Yeah, I guess it's just sort of like he couldn't say that it's a good thing that smaller teams are making games without also saying that the industry is in a bad place because people are getting laid off and all this other crap.
But people are getting laid off because a lot of these big games have been rejected by the audiences, right? So
at the end of the day, you're making a product and it's your job to make me want to buy it and spend money on it.
Right.
And that's not my fault if I don't want to. You didn't.
Yeah, if I have 100 people that
audience,
makes like chairs and I'm going to invest in making 1 million chairs and they don't sell.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the chair's fault. It's right. It's sorry, you don't have a job. I don't even know where I'm going with this analogy, but
no, I hear what you're saying. I think so often there's like this sense of entitlement and like your special protected class if you make a video game,
right?
Where we must like bleed for these people if they made a shitty product. And yeah, it sucks when you.
But then if you criticize the product, then you're actually the problem because you aren't virtuous and you don't understand what they're trying to do, right?
And you end up with a lot of people creating games for people they say they hate. I mean,
yes.
World of Warcraft had a problem like that. Like they had like a really nasty community manager at one point, and it's like your job as a community manager is to be positive,
to foster the community.
Exactly. And they're just like, we hate all you trolls. They're like, I hate all you trolls. Like they were tweeting weird shit, and like they had to, well, you guys are bad for my mental health. It's like, no, you didn't have the disposition to do this job. And so I don't know. I just feel like enough with the negativity. I've been trying to say lately on the show, and I really believe it, that gaming's never been better. Industry, everything. Like it's never been better for me.
Except Sony.
Okay, you got to stop that. You're pissing off the.
Now it's a joke. Okay, so as I have other news here.
You got to open
that's
up.
important. I know.
Let's close out with this. What is it that you can?
All right, this is from VideoGamesChronicle.com. Shift Up is reportedly working on a Nintendo port following the recent Stellar Blade PC release.
I mean, why not? They're obviously a lot of talent. They made a good port. It'll sell well there, like hotcakes, no pun intended. Probably not as well as it did on PC. You won't be modding. But I'm excited about Shift Up. I hope they continue to make, non-mobile PC crossover games and make real games like this. But don't buy it.
Me?
Yeah, don't buy it for the third time. Although we got keys, but I'm saying you don't have to own it in 3 places. Just because it's on Nintendo. Okay.
No, it plays fine. Yeah. And
how does it work? Why?
Well, with Sony. Has Sony published games on the Switch before? On Nintendo?
Maybe it was like...
Have they?
I don't know. How much control do they have as the publisher? Sony wants money at the end of the day. But yet they won't publish on Xbox. I just read an article that said Sony did not think Nintendo was a threat to them. They thought Xbox was back in the day. And I think they're sort of stuck in that mentality.
Right.
But Nintendo does do its own thing, but they're not the powerful living room console. So they still look as like we're competing with Xbox.
So to answer my question, Sony is officially publishing more Switch games in 2025.
Well, they have to, right?
They're doing Patapon and Everybody's Golf. Remember that game? You liked that, didn't you?
Maybe. Golf? I played a golf game or two. I mean, it's a rumor right now that's coming to Switch 2. Nothing is confirmed. They're reviewing possibilities. But, I mean, with the Switch now, if it can, there's no reason it can't run, upscale DLSS or whatever. I mean, if the Steam Deck can do it, then the Switch can do it. So are we going to see more and more of these games coming there? Probably.
Indiana Jones, Gears of War.
Yeah, I mean, upscaling. Why not?
Right.
But I would rather build out a library somewhere else.
When is Everybody's Golf coming to the Switch? I actually want it. that's Hot Shots.
Steam?
No, I own it on PlayStation. Remember, that's the Hot Shots game. Remember?
Yeah, I played this. Where did I play it? PS4? I don't remember. Maybe I played it there. Everybody's Golf Steam page is up 2 months ago. So I guess I must have played it on PlayStation if I did.
Yeah, I know I did.
Well, they're showing it, yeah, Nintendo Direct. I mean, seems like it's coming out Switch Steam. They're launching on both again from PlayStation.
But that answers my question. Sony is publishing games on the Switch. So if Stellar Blade does go there, then I guess they're the publisher.
I think they sort of look at it like they do PC. Well, we'll delay it. We'll publish it later. We'll collect the money, but we won't put it on Xbox because Xbox is the living room console to them. And that's where they're looking at the space they want to own.
Yeah, Switch is this is the handheld version, right?
Exactly. But if Sony comes out with their own handheld, whatever, if Xbox puts Steam in the living room, yeah, it's weird. I think Sony, I think is like slowly relaxing up on this stuff. Nintendo isn't. Like they're the ones that are not, they're not doing anything anywhere other than their little mobile escapade that I talked about. Nintendo refuses to put their IPs anywhere else.
I know.
Even if they don't make it, they just publish it, right? I mean, has there been, other than mobile, they don't want to do it.
No, I mean, can you imagine seeing a Nintendo game in Steam? Like, that seems so impossible to me.
It does, but it's dumb that it's not there because they claim, and I mean, Nintendo claims their biggest problem is emulation. It's a big threat, right?
Yes.
Well, if you want to cut that off, you sell Zelda on Steam and everybody's going to buy it.
I know.
And it's already been emulated and done years ago.
I mean,
so
I can't tell you how many
doing?
how many tweets I saw of people posting their Steam Deck running Switch games in the last week.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And I mean, look, I've
Switch
been
one.
there. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there when I reviewed Zelda and I had my Switch and Zelda running next to an emulated version on my PC side by side. And I honestly, with good faith, could not choose to play the Switch version on my Switch because it ran worse, looked worse. And it was an honest, genuine reason why I wanted to play on PC. And I think that for the most part, Zelda on Steam might be the best selling game ever if they did it. You know, and it's silly.
Can you imagine?
It's silly. And you say Nintendo's not about money, they're about honor. I disagree. I think it's something else going on because if they were truly about honor, well, in general, that's what I hear. Nintendo will never do it. Mm-hmm. They care about their properties. They da-da-da-da-da. I don't think that's what it is because they put Mario crapware on the iOS store and, you know, they had Animal Crossing Pay to Win and whatever else they put on their Pocket Camp. They're just not.
Yeah, that's what's weird to me is the mobile stuff they did. It feels so. I mean, maybe Animal Crossing is closer to the original game, but the Mario stuff was not.
They monetized it with like gems and timing, and it was weird.
Well, I know there's a full version now.
There is now because there was a backlash to it. Yeah, like I looked, it's like $15, $20. It's like 7 years of content. Get it now, you know, for this price, and it's like,
well, you know.
They didn't want to make a good game that would compete with their Switch game, I think. They wanted it to be truly mobile with the coins and the login every day. They wanted to...
Yeah, they're like, well, if we make it good, then we're not going to sell Switches.
They wanted to make money there. Don't tell me Nintendo doesn't care about money. They only care about their IPs when they could be making tons of money and preserve their IPs. But, you know, they are probably looking at the handheld PCs as a threat, and they don't want to give you a reason to play Zelda on your Steam Deck. They want you to have to buy that Switch. So I get why they're doing it.
Okay, so, well, I guess Breath of the Wild, they're still selling technically with the upgrade packs, but that would be the one to do right now. Put that on fucking.
You're right. What if it was
Steam.
A huge delay? What if it was 5 years later? 10 years later?
But here's the thing.
Then they can't sell you their retro games.
But, okay, Michelle, Breath of the Wild is how old right now? Like 7 years or something?
Yeah.
5, 6, whatever it is?
It doesn't matter how old it is. People are still going to buy it.
I know, but okay, so that's not even a candidate for Steam right now because they just released an expansion pack version of it.
Well, that's why Nintendo doesn't do it because they want to milk
So now it's suddenly
forever.
new again to them, right? So now they're...
Yeah, exactly.
So it's never old. It's never old because they keep revisiting it.
And they have GameCubes. Like I just saw and I was like...
Wind Waker. Wind Waker, that's an old game, GameCube. Well, it's new to them now because they just put it on the Switch.
Well, that's
right?
why I just saw a big update for the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, which a lot of people say was the best one. I probably agree. Okay.
I would agree.
I did like my GameCube. Now, they just did a bunch of big updates to it for PC for the emulated version of GameCube. And I'm like, why are they doing this? I'm like, oh, did it show up on the Nintendo GameCube emulation which is basically emulation still on your Switch, right? You get these GameCube games, but they're competing head to head with stuff like this. And instead of competing, just sell it, just give people, I mean, if maybe Nintendo makes all their money on hardware now at this point. Like, what do they care? If they sold a quarter less Switches, but sold 500% more games, it just makes no sense to me. So
they would make way more money.
I don't shit on Sony as much as you do. Also because I think their business practices are just more consumer friendly than what Nintendo does. You know what I mean? And I don't see you ever criticizing anything Nintendo does.
That's not true.
It's just you and Rye are just juicers. It's just all about this and all about that.
It's not true.
And,
but
now I got to hear about Donkey Kong and Pauline.
I want to ask you something because I've been thinking about this after last night. How Rye was saying, there's hundreds of hours of content in these games, and Mario Kart World is an $80 game, right? But you pay that once and you're done, and they're going to continuously update that game. There's no battle pass. There's no DLC.
And I've got 1,000 hours in Path of Exile 1, and it's a free game. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, John. You're competing in a different market. Look at Fortnite. How many hours do people have in that?
But wouldn't you rather have that model than a battle pass model? Because they could very easily make Mario Kart
but it's not one
a battle
or the
pass
other.
game.
There are full-fledged games that are
sure,
but
that Mario Kart, that is primed to be a battle pass style game. It would make a lot of sense.
I'm not going to pat them on the back for not doing it because their audience would reject it and they would make less money. I actually think, because that's what sort of has happened with other things. Like you shit on your reputation long enough, like Blizzard, and the community's gonna turn on you. Like Diablo's dead right now, and you guys invented the genre. So Nintendo, if they started battle passing all this stuff, I do think at some point it would catch up with them. I know you guys at Nintendo fans will support anything, but I do think the cracks would start to show if they.
I'm not saying I want battle pass, but I'm saying that would be a just
you don't think
perfect
there's going to be a paid
it.
DLC?
Would the Mario Kart 8 charge for the DLC?
I mean, they're charging you for game upgrades. Don't act like they're doing some, wonderful
I think it came with
here.
the Switch Online.
Yeah, but that's still it's still paid in a way. So I do think there will probably be paid DLC. I do think, they're charging you so you can play your games at more frames per second just because you have a more powerful thing. But, the Nintendo people get mad at me when I say anything negative about Nintendo, but I never hear them say, here's the things I would like to see change because they're not the Nintendo they used to be.
Right.
Anyway, let's get out of here before we piss off any more Sony or Nintendo fans.
Were the Mario Kart 8 expansions free or just part of the online expansion?
Everybody likes free DLC.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, $24.99.
There you go. So they have their own versions of that.
But it's free for Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack members.
Okay, but what is a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack member? Some other extra tacked on service that you pay on top of your Nintendo Online? I don't care if you have it. They're still charging. It's not complete,
It's like 50.
John.
It's like $50 a year.
Yeah, you needed a subscription to use your alarm clock, and now you needed one to play your DLC and your games.
They got rid of that. I saw.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, people wanted updates on the Alarmo. Alarmo is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yes, it is actually.
No,
it's my favorite alarm clock I've ever owned.
This tells me all I need to know about you as a person.
No, the way it operates, not the sounds, just the way it works.
Right. First of all, there's no snooze button on it. What kind of fucking alarm clock doesn't have a snooze button?
There is. Okay, here's how it works.
You can't share a bed with somebody. I don't sleep. For the rest of my life, I got to sleep alone for this alarm clock? Is that what you're telling me?
No. The rhythm in this house works with that clock, okay?
I don't think...
My wife gets up first.
Okay,
so it works.
You're never in the bed at the same time? What are you, I Love Lucy? You got separate beds?
No.
This alarm mode doesn't work for couples, John.
No, it works if the person that doesn't use the alarm gets up first, which my wife does. She gets up before me.
But you'd think the person with the alarm would be the one waking up. They're the motherfucker that's got to wake up for work. They set the alarm, not the motherfucker snoozing
It takes my wife a lot longer to get ready.
Like me.
Okay, so that's just how it works.
I don't think this works. The alarmo upsets me, John. I think you defend it too hard.
here's how it works. The alarm goes
Okay.
off. It subtly ramps up. Okay,
Yeah.
you hear. You're kind of half awake. You're hearing little sounds, maybe some coins.
Set an alarm with any sound on your phone to wake you up.
No. And then it just kind of eases. It eases. It gets louder. It gets louder. The coins are getting louder. Bowser's coming. Tom Nook, Isabel, they're all coming.
Right. All
It's
these
getting
annoying
louder.
characters jiggling
Here comes
coins while you're waking
up. The Ring Fit person's there. They're getting louder and louder and louder.
I'm very sensitive to how I wake up because my mother woke me up like every annoying mother did. She would come in the room,
like you're in the military,
rip open the shades, and go, "What are you doing in here? It's so dark. It's 11 o'clock, Michelle. Get out of bed, okay?" And I was like, "Listen, get out of my room, okay?" So I don't want an alarm to wake me up like my mother did.
No, this is you're easing into it, okay? And then it gets loud, and now you're like, "Oh my god, I have to get up." But here's the thing:
if you're a mother listening to this and you aren't, do not go in your kid's room and slam open the shades, okay? You touch them gently on the shoulder first. And then, same thing when I would wake men up, okay? Honey, it's time to wake up. You don't just rip open the shades. And the alarmo is ripping open the shades, John.
No, it's not. I'm telling you, it's easing it.
No, coins jingling and jangling in your ear.
The alarm's at 100% now, okay? All you do is you move your arm a little bit, like you go 3 times. Ding, ding, ding,
so now
ding,
you're punching the person next to you in the face.
Now the volume goes down. It goes down. That's the snooze. Right. It goes down. Now it's back to
toddlers.
Now it's barely inaudible, okay? Then it starts ramping up again. And then you move your arms 3 times.
So
ding,
stupid.
ding, ding, ding.
So
and then it goes back down. It goes back down. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to get up. You get up. You don't have to touch anything. The clock knows you just got up, and then it plays this.
The clock is watching you.
I know. It plays this. Yes. So as soon as I get to the other side of the bed, I get like a victory sound, and you know, like I won an award or something.
Right.
And
so you
and
did a good job getting out of bed.
Right.
This is a Black Mirror episode. Okay, they're gonna be like, John, you wore those pajamas for the last 3 days. We've been watching you. Now get out of bed. I don't like the alarmo. I don't like what it
IR
represents.
sensor, the
You're
motion
upsetting
sensor
me.
it's very accurate. And they constantly update it. I just got all the Animal Crossing stuff. There might be new stuff now.
Listen,
I don't know.
Your wife had to text you during our show to please turn the alarmo off, okay? So it's obviously not working out. You're in deep denial. This woman is a saint to tolerate you.
I had it set to do sleep sounds. So so if you get into bed and it sees you in bed, it starts playing like rain sounds kind of stuff. You know, like yeah. And it was doing that when I was down here.
You would have found that thing in the drawer, okay? In the drawer, okay? I would say, what's going on over here? I got coins jingling and jangling as I'm trying to go to sleep. And then there's giggles. And imagine the Donkey Kong update they're going to add. Pauline's going to be shouting out of the alarm clock.
Right. Oh, you know?
Oh, that's going to be great. So anyway, thank you guys for listening and supporting. And by the way, if you do want to support us, because we're probably putting this out for everybody just as a preview, John and I do bonus shows like this every week. Okay. John shows sometimes PC Outsiders, sometimes mini VGOs like this, sometimes weird stuff like Lore Outsiders. You can do so by supporting us in our Discord on videogameoutsiders.com. We have the weekly bonus shows. We got a 20-year back catalog and also ad-free VGO you can download and just toss in your Spotify folder. Yeah, it's actually easy to do it in Discord because you just download it and throw it in your Spotify folder now. People are saying that that's just kind of way nicer because they can just have one app like Spotify for all their podcasts. So anyway, you can also win games from CD Keys in our Discord. Say hi to our new host, Rye. Sign up for that Mario Kart contest, okay? If you do have a Switch 2, that's happening in July. And I think that's it. We'll see you Tuesday.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, subbing, all that. Video game out.